What is going on, UFC card lovers? Welcome back here to UFC Card Talk. My name is Damien, and here at UFC Card Talk we talk about everything to do with UFC cards, from collecting to investing, and also recent UFC card hobby news.
Yeah, boy.
Last week's video I did go over some higher end UFC card sales, and it really got me thinking, who is or who could be the Michael Jordan, the Tom Brady, or the Micky Mantle of the UFC card hobby? So I want to talk about that in today's episode. Before I talk about that, I do want to go over two other quick things first. Firstly, I have a UFC Card Talk exclusive, and that is Dana White's reaction to hearing the news last week that Conor McGregor got hit by a car riding his bike in Ireland. Roll the tape.
That's fucking illegal.
Fair enough, Dana. And the other thing I want to talk about is a quick little disappointing eBay story. On Saturday last week, I did purchase a card. It was my guy, Sean O'Malley. It was his Flux Gold from 2022. I won the card from a seller in Australia, of all places. The sale price was $74, which is obviously quite cheap. $74 Australian. I bid on the card in the last 5 seconds, was super stoked to win. I had to finish up what I was doing, and then 2 minutes later I went to pay for the item, and when I went to pay for it, when I clicked the pay now button, it basically said that the order had been cancelled. Part of me was not that surprised. I felt like it went for too cheap, but still I was very surprised that this is even, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know that as an eBay seller you were able to actually cancel a sale post auction. I mean, that's kind of crazy to me. I was obviously very disappointed, and I didn't even need to ask to know why. Obviously whoever was selling the card was disappointed for the overall sale price, but that's not the buyer's problem. That seller should have been more responsible. They should have had a buy it now listing instead, or they should have had a higher minimum reserve price. The card sold for what it sold for, and they obviously weren't happy about it, so they cancelled the order after auction. I mean, obviously I love UFC cards. I love the hobby, but I did really think about, what if that was my first experience? What if I was looking at getting into UFC cards, or any sports cards for that matter, and my first ever auction I won, only to have that the seller cancel the order? I mean, how deterring would that be? That could potentially ruin that person's first ever experience and really stop them from being a participant in the hobby. So that really got me thinking. Shame on that seller. I am going to air him out, so if I haven't made a post already on my Instagram, I'll be sure to do that in the next coming days, just so you all know to steer clear from him, because that is just basically unacceptable behaviour, and shame on him and shame on eBay even having the ability for a seller to do that. So, as I did mention, if you haven't already, I will link in the description the link to the video from last week when I did go over some high-end UFC card sales, and it really got me thinking, who could be the Michael Jordan? Who could be the Tom Brady or the Micky Mantles of the UFC card hobby, if not now, in the coming future, whether it's 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years? Because one thing I did take away from going over those sales was inconsistency. Not only in the parallels or the sets of cards that we saw selling for high prices, but also the fighters themselves. We had Hamza really as the highest selling card that I could find over the past few months, and to me that is absolutely crazy. Hamza is not a GOAT of our sport. He is not the Tom Brady, he is not the Michael Jordan. For two things, we had Paddy cards in there. He's still a prospect. I understand people are very excited about him, and there is a room for prospects in the hobby, but I do think UFC card market, it is missing that overall GOAT. I know it is hard to distinguish who is a GOAT in mixed martial arts, because it's just such a different sport from those other team sports, but I do think with time, UFC cards haven't been around for all that long, so that's one thing that is really a big factor in this. There is two things in my mind that Tom Brady, Michael Jordan and Micky Mantle have in common. That is, one, popularity, and also the other thing is achievements / performances. You have to have those two things to be a well-known superstar outside of the sport, and that's what those three guys were. I mean, yes, we do have Conor McGregor. He is the first ever athlete to hold 2 titles at the same time, but Conor McGregor unfortunately has not ever defended any of those titles, and has since then sort of fallen off the wagon a bit, not only with his performances but also outside of the octagon, which does really hurt his legacy in my own opinion. The one good thing about UFC is it is so new, the card hobby is still so fresh, there is so much room for it to grow, and in the future we just need time. The UFC needs more time as a sport, as a card hobby, in order to grow, in order to distinguish who are these athletes that are going to be chosen to be the Michael Jordans. It's fun for me to think of, who could it be? Could it be Royce Gracie? Could it be Randy Couture? Could it be GSP? I mean, if you take a look at GSP is loved within the mixed martial arts community. He has a welterweight legacy that stands out on its own with his title defenses. The number of times that he was in the octagon as champion. He is such a respected, well-liked gentleman outside of the cage also, which is great for him. So all fingers in my mind point to him. If you're talking about performances inside the octagon, it's hard to go past Jon Jones, but unfortunately he does have those PED and he does have those issues outside the octagon, so that does really hurt him and his potential position in the greatest of all time, if he is trying to become that hobby leader that we need. Moving up to heavyweight could help him, and if he does secure a heavyweight title, I do think that will be massive for him. Maybe people over time, if he can come out, if he can improve his image outside of the octagon, I do think that could be something that helps Jon Jones. Royce Gracie, as I said, is another one who's there. He's got a popular family name. His name transcends outside of the sports of mixed martial arts. When you think of jiu-jitsu, you think of Gracie, Gracie family name. And then we have other young superstars coming through now. The sport is just getting so much bigger, so many more eyes on it. The cards themselves, what I really love about them is they are so low print in compared to these other big sports. Take Conor McGregor for example. He literally has 2 or 3 rookie cards. There's obviously parallels to those each rookie cards, but having only 2 or 3 rookie cards is absolutely insane, and you will not see that in any other sport. Even some of these other later tops issues. And even if you look at someone like GSP, the Tops 2009 product had 5 different sets from round 1 to round 5. There was obviously some parallels and inserts within each of those round releases, but there wasn't that many printed of them. And I think that's really going to help the UFC card market in the future. So I'm super excited to see where the UFC card hobby is going to be. I think we're all in a very lucky position. All of us now, if you're watching this video, you are in the UFC card hobby, and guess what? You are one of the pioneers of the UFC card hobby. Regardless of what you think, there is just not that many of us out there, and I think the more of us that are out here making content, not only myself, but all of the other guys doing podcasts, doing YouTube videos, helping grow this little community, I think we are all doing great things for the hobby. I'm super excited to be a part of that, and I hope you guys are too, because I think a lot of us are going to look back. Obviously our passion for these cards, our passion for this sport are only going to grow as the years go on, and I think we are going to be so happy that we jumped in when we did, regardless of when you jumped in. Even if you were to jump in this year, you were still in the early stages of UFC cards, and if you're not excited about that, then I don't know what will excite you. So as I said, who is the Michael Jordan? Who is the Micky Mantle? Who is the Tom Brady of the UFC card market? If one thing is for sure, it's still up for grabs. And that to me is more exciting than anything. Go out there, buy your favorite fighters now. Find some new young fighters, get behind them. Buy their cards, get emotionally invested in their careers. Have yourself a blast in this hobby. I sure am at the moment. I'm pumped up. Just buy the cards that you like. Whether you like them aesthetically, whether you love the fighter, it doesn't matter. Just buy the cards that you like. Thank you all you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm almost getting to 100 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy to me that there's 100 people out here who are enjoying these videos, who want to watch my videos each and every week. Thank you guys so much. I always appreciate the support. Feel free to anyone to ever at UFC Card Talk on Instagram, send me a message. I love communicating. I love talking with each and every single one of you guys. Hit that notification bell because new videos are coming out every single Friday afternoon for you guys. Thank you again, and I'll see you again here next week at UFC Card Talk.